Hello and welcome to the Buddha Brunch interview show, where I take people who are artists, teachers, writers, creators of any kind, people I just find interesting, and sit down with them and talk with them about art, about spirituality, about the creative process. And today we have sculptor, artist, woman extraordinaire, Mary Maude.
Yay, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. So this is Mary's green room. No, it's her it's her chalkboard with just crazy stuff that comes out of her brain.
God makes the beauty happen and I get to share it with the world.
That's awesome.
That's just something that occurred to me when I was sculpting.
What's the next one?
The next one. If you think you understand now, ask yourself if you'd like to be in the same place in 20 years. With the same understandings.
Oh, that's a great.
Yeah, every time I feel like I got everything under control, I take a look at that one.
Nice. I was going to call it a koan, but it's not necessarily. But it's a great question to meditate on. And here's Mary's projects and things that are coming up, shows, galleries.
Things I'm interested in. If they have a check mark, then I've definitely applied.
So there's a Ned interview, which we're doing today. It's already got a check. I don't know, is that a premature check? It's
No, it means it's all set up, it's moving along fine.
Check mark means it's gonna happen.
I don't have to do anything else to make it happen.
Afterwards, if it's a good experience, we'll make it a check plus.
Okay, I can do that.
And you do mostly sculpting.
Correct.
Any other art forms, mediums you want to talk about?
Ceramic sculpture.
Ceramic sculpture.
Ceramic sculpture.
That's the best.
And I'm just starting to get into oil clay so I can make a bronze. I'm leaning towards, I want to go into making bronzes. You can get a lot more detail. And I'm all about the detail. I'm all about the focus.
Wow. So let's go right into it. What's the difference between working with a bronze or creating a bronze as opposed to the other sculptures?
You're asking the wrong person. I know this much.
You're learning. It's a learning process.
I'm learning. I'm totally
Awesome.
learning. I can work with the oil clay very easily. Familiar with that. Gotten very used to it. I love being able to create the detail in the oil clay. It is so I can't think of the right words for it, but it just fills my heart. It really does. Just to be able to just sit there for so long and get that kind of detail, it just really does it for me.
Fulfilling.
Fulfilling. It's very, very fulfilling.
Now, when you do your art, this is a common question I ask artists. Is this a spiritual practice for you? And of course, and tell me more, how is it so?
I've been really thinking about that since you brought it up. And I know for most of my life, sculpting took away from what was taking place. I had children, I had responsibilities, and then I was working, helping to feed the children, so I didn't have a lot of time for sculpting. So my spiritual practice involved a lot of unity-minded ideas, like meditation. That's been with me a long time, since you won't even go how old I am. Okay?
You're at least in your 20s, maybe early 30s.
Yes, early 30s. And so when I got into sculpting again, I realized how focused I can get. And that is a form of meditation. In fact, that's the part of sculpting I like the most, is when it feels like a laser light. That's what I've realized.
A laser light.
It is, and it can be good or bad because I won't stop. I've literally gone for 18 hours. I've gone till I want to fall over on my desk. And then I still want to keep going. When I get that kind of focus, I do not want to stop. And then you asked me also about...
Hey, I'll conduct this
Okay.
interview. So the sculpting pieces that you do themselves, I've seen candies. I've seen. Tell me about this one you have over here.
Yeah, I wanted to share this piece, and I can hold it up.
Yeah.
This is called "Carry Me Home, You Old Sea Spray."
Do you mind even just holding that a little closer? Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a woman, and she's sort of blending into the sea spray, but the amazing part about this is that it opened a whole chapter in my sculpting career. Is that I was literally working on this piece, and it wasn't supposed to be anything at all like this. It was going to be a female form, and I couldn't get what I wanted. I could not get what I wanted. There was no focus.
That happens to me when working with the female form all the time. Thank you very much.
Well, I couldn't get any focus. I couldn't get what I wanted out of this. And what occurred to me, first of all, instead of that laser light, when I'm really into and everything's flowing perfectly, is this like fireworks. There's a big bang, and there's an explosion of ideas, and then they
breakthrough.
And then they all go do 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 do.
Yeah.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
And so I have to like reel it in, so to speak. And one day when I was working, and it was just fireworks, it was just bursting and then being gone, and so I was creating this and I was doing that, and I didn't like that, and then the next fireworks would go off and I'd start this, and I finally got so frustrated. I spent a week working on this, and I got so frustrated that I literally picked up one of my sculpting tools and I started stabbing it. I know this happens. Artists get very frustrated sometimes, and I wasn't really, I was trying too hard.
Right.
I was really trying too hard to create something that I thought should be there.
Right.
And it wasn't like that. And so after stabbing this for just 20 seconds or so, all of a sudden I saw the beautiful ocean waves. I saw that these weren't here whatsoever, and then they just popped out. And I felt so at home with the water.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you had been having the fireworks, like so many ideas, so many images and thoughts and
Of
feelings.
how she should be laid out.
And then you were able to do, this was the first time you were able to laser that and kind of pick an image and create one specific piece. Is that what you mean by the laser experience?
When it all came together, when I saw those ocean waves, and it just really represented literally how I was feeling in that moment, that turbulence, just thrown all over the place.
Yeah.
And I said, that's perfect representation. And there I am, just floating on the top of it.
Wow. And what was the name of that piece?
That's Carry Me Home.
Carry Me Home.
Ocean, well, your old spray or something. It's Carry Me Home.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now that makes me think of, artists of any kind, be it painting, sculpting, any medium, can face that challenge. You have so many ideas, and you don't want to lose out on them. Oh, and I also have to pick the right one, and there's a fear of missing out on anything. And this sounds like you're finally able to kind of embrace that fear.
Yes.
And allow it
that
to
wasn't
be.
letting go. I really had to focus on how this sculpture should look. I really did, and I struggled with it until that breakthrough.
And such is life, right? In this journey, there's so many choices, and if we hesitate and out of fear of not picking the right one, we might just not act at all. We might not do anything. We lose out on all of it.
Well, that's why I like this sculpture so much.
Yeah.
Because I reached that point where it's just, I had no idea what to do, how to move forward. I had no idea. Everything was just drained out of me after this week of struggling with this, and then the stabbing released.
Yeah.
It just did. All the frustration, all the anger, all the unknowing how to fix this, how to deal with this, just went whoosh.
Nice.
And then I saw what I needed to see, and that just broke through. And then I've been working with water and clay.
Great.
This is a oil clay project. This is the original Mastiff, or the dog that originated for all the Mastiff type animals, dogs. If that makes sense. And it's made out of oil clay. It never dries. I've been working on it for a few weeks, and I'm not quite satisfied with it. I'm thinking about starting a different one, something that would be a little bit easier to mold into bronze. This will be a bronze.
Awesome.
It would be a bronze. This is a piece I did for a show in the Crossroads, and they totally said, no, that won't work at all. We want your other pieces. So it ended up just sitting here.
The horse, it's a horse with a sky background. And so it has yet to be displayed publicly.
That is correct.
Ooh, this is groundbreaking.
Well, actually, it's been posted.
It's been posted.
It's been posted, but
Because that's what you do to a horse, you tie him to a post.
I like that. And this was a crazy idea I had about making cupcakes with a Tim Burton kind of appeal. This was my Day of the Dead cupcake.
Oh, let me get in a little closer there.
Yeah.
Ooh, Now you have a knack for sculpting with food and candy.
Sometimes, yes, very much so.
What's over here?
All the candies. I do. This is what I do with all my extra clay. This is one of the projects I'll do. And these are all magnets, and they're really strong. And the magnets will never come out, too. I've glued them in there, I've sewn them in there, they're sturdy. They will work for a long
Excellent.
time.
And you also do similar with candies for necklaces, for jewelry, for all sorts of stuff.
Yes, I do. I'm practicing with them,
Nice.
playing with them.
And I'm just going to pan a little bit further to this colorful little tray.
All the test tiles for the clay classes that are coming up at Goddard Gallery. I get to do a little plug, right?
Yeah, clay classes. Take clay classes with Mary.
At Goddard Gallery. It'll be on April 10th and, one moment, April 24th. They're both Sundays. Very reasonable prices. And these are kids' clay classes. I hope to see you there.
Well, my next question is about what are your roadblocks? What are the obstacles? What gets in the way of that creative flow from time to time? If it does, now maybe you're one of those artists I haven't met yet who never has the pitfalls or the sand traps. But what can those be for you?
When I start having outside art activities that I get focused on.
Outside, so things other than your sculpting.
Mm-hmm.
When you have
I
duties.
volunteer for some organizations, and that same laser focus will come into play. And then I have to remind myself and pace it. And that's part of the reason you'll see in my studio the large chalkboard up on the wall, so I can try to keep track of what I really want to be working on. Which, yes, I want to continue helping, but I want to keep this focus on my art.
Excellent. Yeah. So
that's a pitfall for me.
that's a pitfall.
Is that I will get involved with other activities too much sometimes.
And I see that's what the chalkboard is one way to get you back, get you focused on,
Yes.
on goals. How about emotionally, spiritually? Do you ever find yourself sitting looking at a piece of clay that pre-mermaid, pre-journey home experience where you get stuck and you just, I don't know what I'm going to do?
If I get stuck, I've learned, especially from that mermaid sculpture, just move forward blindly. Just move forward blindly. Just make some more sketches. Just get the tools out, manipulate the clay a little bit. And sometimes, actually, I get extra information from books, nature books, because I do a lot of sculpting of animals. So I'll go into nature books, or I'll watch PBS specials on animals, actually, too.
Nice.
Anything that's soothing to me to watch the animals, which I think is part of the reason I like sculpting animals. I like their power and their abilities and their focus, too.
So do something. Do
Yes,
anything.
do something. I will just do something. I will.
Awesome.
I've even been known just to get up, run out to the kitchen, literally just wash the dishes really fast, and then rush back in there because it takes my focus, my eye. I'm very visual. It'll take my visual off the sculpture that's in front of me, and I get to look out the kitchen window.
Yeah, and tactile as well.
Tactile, very much tactile.
So for other mediums, it should be media or medium. Now that's the debate when we're referring to
It's
all
medias.
Media.
Medias when you're talking about different, like painting or sculpture or oil or acrylic. If you differentiate, it's medias.
Media. Now, because
Medias.
medium is singular. Media.
Medias. Medias.
Media is plural.
Uh-huh.
So medias is like super plural.
I don't know now.
That's why I usually just say mediums, because we know a medium is, we're used to that, to talking about an art form.
Yes.
And then, but I'm going to start saying medias.
Medias.
Yes, get your medias out there. To do something, go out there and do something.
It is literally, that's it. Just move.
Yeah.
Just move.
So Mary has I came into her house and we have a special surprise. Some of our viewers may be interested in what Mary's sitting on here. Can people watching that, can you guess what this is that Mary is sitting on? We'll give you another 3, 2, 1. What are you sitting on, Mary?
The Charles Fillmore Chapel seats. I believe the original ones.
That is really cool. I've sat in these a time or two myself. I remember being told in a homiletics class to watch when you stand up. Go ahead and move your hand.
Yeah.
Because they thunk. They thunk,
do.
they make a noise.
And they are sturdy, they are beautiful.
They are. That's really cool. And you went into the Fillmore Chapel and stole these.
Yes.
No, you
They
know.
have some great stained glass windows upstairs too.
No, they were giving these away when they renovated and put in new chairs, and you got some. Nicely done.
Yay.
Mary Maude, do you have any closing thoughts?
I love this opportunity. This is if anybody remembers the 7 a.m. daily words, I used to purposely choose to do those because I didn't like public speaking. And part of the reason I wanted to do this is because it's in my discomfort zone. It's outside of my comfort zone, as most people say, and so I said, I'm going to do it. And so I appreciate the opportunity.
I appreciate the opportunity to make you uncomfortable.
It is.
Thank
but
you.
I'm going to be here and I'm going to do it and I'm going to have some fun.
You can.
And it's not that bad.
It's
It really isn't.
You did a fine job. You can view more of Mary Maude's works at the WordPress site, and the new website name is going to be.
I purchased my domain. It'll soon be on my website. It will be artprovesthesoul.com.
artprovesthesoul.com.
That's exactly what
Coming
Spirit
soon.
told me for my expression. It demonstrates our souls. Art proves the soul.
Well, thank you, Mary Maude. Please be sure to like Buddha Brunch on Facebook, like and subscribe to Ned Kelly Video on YouTube, and you can support these videos on Patreon.com. Thanks again, Mary. You're the best.